Good afternoon and greetings everyone to ARC's weekly fireside chat. Welcome. My name is Sam Lewis. I'm the Executive Director of ARC, the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. I'd like to give a few instructions before we get on with this amazing show. If you go to the bottom, if you're on a computer and you go to the bottom of your screen, you'll see a ribbon. And on the ribbon, there's a Q&A section. If there are questions that you'd like to ask, please type those questions into our chat box or you can into our Q&A box. If you'd like to just give shout outs or add additional questions, you can also go to the chat box and be able to type in some of the questions that you might want to answer. Again, welcome and greetings to everyone from ARC, the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. So this week's conversation is about what it's like to come home and how important is a ride home, like the freedom of just coming home. We have some amazing panelists that are going to talk about this, that have both experience and that actually do this. So panelists such as Richard Cruz, Cervantes, Pamela Thompson, and Edward Fry, all amazing people that have been giving us their heart, and one who just came home just recently. So I'd like to start with Carlos, an amazing guy that I met some time ago. He's also a great cook. If you ever catch Carlos and have an opportunity to speak with him, talk to him about some of the food that he cooks, whenever I'm around his house, I'm like, can I get a dish? He's a great guy and the manager of our Ride Home program. Carlos, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the Ride Home?
Sam, thank you. Thank you for having me again. Yeah, so the Ride Home started in 2013. It was a collaboration, and it's still a collaboration with the Three Stripes Project at Stanford Law School. We provide immediate, intensive, and personalized reentry support to individuals being released under California's sentencing reform. The good thing about this program, in 2015, we went national. President Obama was able to release about 1,700 individuals through his executive clemency order, in which, we're flying throughout the country, picking up individuals. I just want to mention 550 of those individuals had life in prison. And for me, if you had life in the feds, looked like you were never going to get out. And this was a good opportunity for our brothers and sisters to come home. And then in 2016, we were honored as the champions of change through the Obama White House. And that was a pretty huge honor. Today, we're back in California. Today, we have to continue our efforts here in my home state. Today, we have thousands of individuals getting released every single day. So it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to continue this legacy, this program that offers, not only support, not only just the Ride Home, but continuous support to welcoming our folks back into the community.
Thank you, Carlos. I've had an opportunity to see some of the video footage of you and Roby, one of our members from way back that were first doing it under the clemency. There's been articles written. You were invited to the White House. This is an amazing program. And I want to give a shout out because although the Stanford Three Stripes Project and the Ride Home Project may have been the forerunners of providing this, there are now organizations that have joined in to support men and women across the state of California with coming home. I want to give a shout out to the Ella Baker Center, Choices for Freedom, All of Us Are None, the Bell Project, and Place for Grace, who have all stepped up in this time of need when our people are coming home and need transportation, a dignified transportation, a meal, clothing, and other things that are unique to these rides. So I just want to give a shout out to all of those organizations. ARC is not the only one. We work in collaboration with all of these great organizations and making sure that our people that are coming home are supported. In fact, I'd like to share with you, we actually have one of those organizations, Richard. Introduce yourself and can you tell us a little bit about the Ahimsa Collective and the work that you're doing in reentry?
Yeah, so I'm Richard Cruz. I'm with the Ahimsa Collective, and we're located in the Bay Area in California. And we're doing reentry work in a way of, like, we'll do ride homes. If Carlos calls us or anybody calls us and wants us to give somebody a ride home, we'll go pick them up. And we do that in a way that's very loving, very safe during COVID. But the one thing is we always ask, what is it that they want? What is it that they want to do? What are the things that they want instead of us assuming what they want? And so we'll give them a ride home. We'll take them out to eat. We'll take them shopping, get them a phone, whatever it is that they want. We'll take them and we'll do that stuff with them. And we'll also offer them the support of work, the support of our collective. And what that means is we have people all over California that are with our collective that want to help, that volunteer with us, and they will support anybody coming home, whether that's taking them shopping and teaching them how to ride public transportation, you know, or teaching them some social interaction skills, taking them to DMV basic needs, rides, things like that. And we also have a gathering pre-COVID once a month for everybody that we know that's in our collective or that we're in connection with, that was formerly incarcerated. And we'd go and have a big barbecue where we would go and their family would go. And we would talk about the issues and the impacts of reintegrating back into society with everybody. And right now we're doing weekly Zoom calls with a formerly incarcerated population that is out here. And so we're just very open, like, to just feeling the need of whoever we can connect with that's coming out.
Thank you, Richard. And thank you for joining us today. Thank you for the work and the love that you give back to our people as they come home. Another one of our amazing panelists, and just recently we posted some of the work that she had been doing. Pamela, please introduce yourself, and how did you come to ARC and get involved in the Ride Home program?
Hi.
That's right.
I've been out for 19 months now, and how I got involved is I had met you, Sam, and Norma had came to Chowchilla and talked about all the amazing things that you guys offer through ARC. And I said that when I ever got out that I was going to become a member. I was like, everything you said, I was like, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. I never did think that I was going to get out, but however, I was released on 1170 D1. I did 24 years off of a 33 to life sentence. I was a 3-striker. I had reached out to Senator Bradford's office, and he had a representative named Ms. Baker, and she reached out to the 3-Strike Project, and they contacted Carlos, who came to pick me up on the Ride Home program. And when I got out, I came down to ARC, became a member, and you guys been stuck with me ever since. I love what I do. Carlos got me introduced into doing the Ride Home program, and I love it because I love giving back and knowing the feeling that I received when he came and picked me up. Him and Michelle Garcia, those are two amazing people. They switched off when they came and picked me up, but yeah.
Thank you, Pamela. Shout out to Michelle. If you're watching, Michelle, shout out.
Yes.
So just know, like, your impact is lasting. This is, so I often say this to our members when we're on our Zoom calls. ARC is an organization, but the power of an organization is the membership and that network and the support that we give each other. That's what makes us powerful. Like, Michelle's a member, like, and now she's staff, but literally understand that that's what makes us unique, is that our membership and the support network and that we give each other. Thank you again for being here, Pamela. I have some questions for you. I'll be back to you in just a minute, but let me first introduce Edward Fry. I'm gonna let you tell your story, Edward. I don't want to jump into it, but Edward, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the last few days, or the last couple of weeks?
Okay, it's been a little journey, but I'm a 3-striker. Also had a 37 years to life sentence for burglary. As Pamela, both were put under the 1170D that my warden put me up for, and it took me about 2 years, but I was able to be taken back out to court. And for those 19 years of my rehabilitation, I started it right when I got in. I didn't wait for the last minute to take programs. I did this before programs were even given, any Prop 57, before any Prop 36, anything. So I wanted to make sure I changed who I was. It ended up paying off in the end, where the judge seen it and ended up recalling my sentence and giving me time served. I was let out at 10 o'clock at night. I was let go where they left me on a parking lot at 10 o'clock at night. If it wasn't for the gentleman that I just happened to be released with having a cell phone, we were able to contact my ex-sister-in-law, her and her husband went ahead, picked me up, allowed me to stay at their place that night, and get a hold of Stanford Law School, who has been representing me for the last year. Luckily, they were able to contact Carlos, and Carlos picked me up, took me over to get some hygiene items, gift cards, give me a ride to my transitional home, and it has been a blessing. what's crazy is Carlos, I told him, I said, hey, you know, eventually I'd like to, you know, help us out, because I think this is really important to people that are getting out, because they don't have that. They're being left right on the streets to fend for themselves. And without it, they'll probably come back to prison. And next thing I know, Carlos is calling me a few days later, getting on this website. So I just want all those guys in prison to know that you can't give up. I thought I was going to die in prison. And just next thing you know, I'm out here in this world with the COVID, people wearing masks, and a cell phone I haven't looked, don't even know how to work it yet. So it's a blessing to be home, and I thank all you who are supporting programs like this.
Thank you, and welcome home, brother. Welcome home. I have a couple. I want to stick with you just for a minute. I have a couple more questions for you. So rumor has it, little bird told me that you hadn't seen your parents in 21 years since you were locked up, and I heard that you shared a little something with us.
Yes, I haven't seen my mother in about 21 years. I haven't seen my father in 27 years. And I was telling Carlos that hug right there, there's only 2 hugs that I've ever got from my father. When I got back from the Iraq War in 1991, that moment right there where he hugged me, I didn't hug him. And that was shocking, because the last time I seen him, he would not talk to me. And that's my mother too. And I, like I said, I haven't seen him. He was my age when I last seen him, and now he's in his 80s. So it was a true blessing. And Carlos took me to get that. I told Carlos that you witnessed something big right there. That was a miracle. Yes.
Hey, welcome home again. And I kind of want to just, one other thing I want to touch on before we move forward through the introductions, and this will probably come up again. Both you and Pamela mentioned 1170D sentence recall. Both of you were 3 strikers. Could you explain that to us real quickly? Because last week with the Secretary of Corrections, he mentioned this, but I don't think a lot of people really understand what an 1170D kickout is. I mean, I know what it was. We used to petition for it and fight for it and litigate attempts of this when I was in back in the 80s and 90s, but we never won. So could you share exactly what is 1170D?
Sure. It's a penal code. It's in the Title 15 also, but there's 2 kinds, because there was an initiative that was passed by the Senate up there. There's one where you can put it in for yourself to the DA. The problem is the DA could either reject it or take it, and you have no recourse against it. This here that I was under was the warden putting you up, or in other words, any staff member of CDCR, it could be a secretary, it could be anyone, can put you up for recommendation to the warden due to your behavior in prison. You have to show a behavior that is far and above of your rehabilitation. So what the warden does is he looks at your C file, he goes through it, he talks to you, and then he submits it to Secretary Diaz's office, who makes a call on it. And if he feels that you should have a recall sentence, he'll go ahead and send that to the parole board, because 3 strikers have to go to the parole board for this. So you're going jumping through 3 hoops. So once they approve it, the secretary will go ahead and send all your C file and the paperwork and all this stuff to the courts, to your sentencing judge. He will look at it. The DA will do a brief on it, and then you do a brief on it. But the thing is, you need someone to represent you. And that's the reason I myself contacted Stanford. You don't want a public defender from the same place that puts you away for the rest of your life. You need legal assistance. And if you get it, as Stanford did for me, it takes some time. You got to be patient, but the judge will go ahead and be fair. And when that judge had me in there, he put me through a little test. He put me in court for over 4 hours, watching everyone getting sentenced or reduced. So then when he turned over to me, he just, the DA wasn't too happy, but he told me, he says, with the record I have in there, he says, I agree with Secretary Diaz. that you should have your sentence recalled. And he took my sentence away, gave me 22 years time served. And I was out that night because, believe it or not, right now, I'm still out to court.
So you were released from San Bernardino County Jail, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so and that's why they released you at 10 at night?
Yes.
So just wanted, I wanted clarity for our listeners. Some people have heard of it and don't know what it means. I'm aware of it. Also want to give a shout out to Mike Romano, the Three Stripes Project at Stanford, for pushing hard. I know that there are now about 50 to 70 lawyers that are working on cases that have been bogged down in the courts that are 1170D kickouts. And the district attorneys in different counties are opposing these recommendations. These recommendations, as you said, from the warden, the secretary of corrections, that are literally saying these people should be released, but now they're stuck in the county in the county system because the DAs are opposing them. So for our audience, if you want to get involved, contact your DAs or reach out and just ask, why aren't you releasing people that have been recommended to be released by the Department of Corrections that are just stuck in court because DAs are opposing them? A huge shout out to all the work that's being done by so many people. And again, welcome home, brother. I heard Carlos took you for some Starbucks. We're gonna get him to take you for some more, of course.
Yeah.
We'd like to ask Pamela and Carlos. So Pamela first, what does it mean, because you experienced it and now you're actually giving this back from the heart, what does it mean to welcome someone home in a dignified way? And what is a dignified ride home?
Sharing my experience with them of how I got involved and just being there for them, because it was a wonderful feeling when Carlos came and picked me up. First of all, he asked me, "You want to drive?" And I was like, "Hell no." Shit. I was too nervous. But he was like, "You'll do fine." And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." So he just talked me through a lot. And then he was like, "Where do you want to go eat?" And I didn't know nothing. So I was like, well, I always crave Panda Express. So he took me there and I still didn't know what to get. Carlos was the most wonderful person I met. Like, he stayed in the parking lot all night long thinking I was going to get released. My process was different. I got released within 3 months of them sending my paperwork up. When I started changing my life around and got rid of my cell phone, stopped doing all illegal stuff, that's when things started changing for me. And one of my staff sponsors, she worked in records, and she knew my story and knew that I didn't deserve to be in there for 33 years. So she overheard a conversation from Sacramento saying that they needed to find people that was that qualified for 1170D1. So she submitted my name, and every day she'd be like, "Have you heard anything?" And I'm like, "No." Well, I think that she submitted it in July. By September, I had went out to court, and they kept me in the county because they gave me time served on 24 years. They gave me time served. I felt like I needed the resources, so I volunteered for parole, and they gave me parole for 1 year. And they just knew they just was like, "Are you serious?" We never heard anybody volunteer for parole. But I did that, and I'm glad that I did, because I wouldn't be who I am today. And then with the help of ARC, I now am a case manager at WLCAC, which I help people that are formerly incarcerated find the resources that they need. I work in reentry. So it's a blessing. Everything that I've gained since I've been out is a total blessing for me. So my process only took 3 months for me to get resentenced and be free.
So just so you know, we are happy that you're here. Mm-hmm. I remember when you said that, when Norman and I came up to CCWF, and I'm like, "I'll be looking for you." And sure enough, you showed up, and not only did you show up, but now you're giving back on a whole different level. We're going to touch on that in a minute, but I want to ask Carlos, in your opinion, why is it important for the Ride Home program to exist?
I really believe that, not only does it offer a very humane of bringing somebody home, welcoming somebody home, but also, me as formerly incarcerated, being able to teach someone the ropes of the community, where the resources are at, connecting them back to their families, connecting them back, to past friends that are now, doing very good out here. Not only that, but connecting them to organizations. The biggest thing that we have now with the Ride Home is that, I'm no longer doing the pickups, which is great. I get, to be behind the scenes. The biggest thing is to have other formerly incarcerated, go and do the pickups, experience that. You know, I had individuals come like Pamela, you know, we picked her up. And one of the crazy parts is that I had to call Michelle Garcia because I didn't want to do the that part of her picking up her clothing at Target and stuff like that. That's for them. You know, I always have, you know, men pick up men, women pick up women. And it's important for me because that's a very intimate moment in somebody's life. You know, it's a very intimate moment. It's a moment somebody's not ever gonna forget that. And I believe that it's the way you're treated that day that lets you to believe, you know, there is support in the community. There are organizations that are here to support me. We do have a large family out here waiting for us to show us the way, you know, to show us how to live out here in a positive, very positive state. And the biggest thing right now is that we're able to find other formerly incarcerated individuals to go and pick someone up and give back to the community, right? I've seen people go through the internship. I've seen people become life coaches. I've seen people become case managers. I see people become union members in the construction field. I see people live their best lives. We've gone through barbecues. We've gone to graduations. And this is a very exciting moment, not only in their lives now, but in our community, because we get to see it so vividly.
Thank you, Carlos. As you see the pictures that are flashing across the screen, those are different ARC members that have done ride homes through the years. I recognize all of them: Roby, Johnny, Stanley. So just so you know, Carlos, I want to give a big shout out to you because you've always pushed this program, even though you do some of the ride homes and you more manage now. But we've talked about being able to do more and more and more. And it looks as though that's being done through a collaboration of organizations. But I want to give a shout out to you for your leadership and your consistency and your heart that you put into it. Like, you don't have a cape, but you definitely a superhero, brother. Couple of questions for you, Richard. Can you give our audience a little bit more insight into what Ahimsa Collective and you, and what do you navigate when you navigate things at home? What made you first get into providing rides home? And what made you get into this work?
So I'm formerly incarcerated. I did 30 years inside. And so that's why I got into the work, is I believe in not leaving anybody behind. And so I go back into the prisons. We actually do a couple groups still inside, restorative justice groups called Realize and Empathize inside about 6 different prisons. We do victim offender dialogues. We have a mutual aid to where I just want to keep giving back and keep helping and not leave anybody behind. So anybody that comes out, I remember getting out and I remember being put in a one-size-fits-all program, and it really didn't work for me. It was like, oh, this is what you need. And nobody listened to what I actually wanted and what I actually needed. And so I wanted to change that and be like, okay, anybody coming home that we know or that we can connect with in any way, let's ask them what they want and let's provide that for them and help them get that. Because I didn't want to keep replicating the system that's already out there of just putting everybody, generalizing everybody and put them in the same boat. And so really listening to people. I love what Carlos said is really just going and watching and spending that wonderful day with somebody getting out and watching them go through all of this sensory overload and everything that's coming at them. And like, how the hell do you use this phone? What am I going to order to eat? And just like, I don't know. And I've just had so many people in my car. I was driving in Oakland and I drove between 2 semis and he freaked out. He was like, oh, I can't do this. He's from the country. And so we pulled over and we got off the freeway and like, okay, let's take the side roads. This is what you need. And so it's just seeing those moments and spending those moments with people and getting that connection and keeping that connection after we drop them off. And, you know, and anytime they call us, we'll be there. Like I'll come drive myself and pick you up. You just need to go to the parole office. I'll come pick you up. You need to go to the store, whatever it is, having these barbecues and then just building a community and keeping it going. So yeah, I just really, really love watching people be ecstatic about getting out of that damn oppressive prison. I remember my time in there and my first days out, and I just want to keep like holding on to that. A little bit about the Ahimsa Collective is that We've been around for about 6 years, and we do what's called a mutual aid and restorative justice. During COVID, we started this, and what it is it's basically we're connecting people in the community to help each other, and this is geared towards formerly incarcerated people and people that have been system impacted. And so anybody out there that is system impact, they could get on our website, anything else, and we'll hook them up with one-on-one support. We have weekly support groups. They need financial aid, we can supply a little bit of financial aid, and any resources we have in the area that we'll help them with. So especially for formerly incarcerated people, please get on there. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and the reentry piece is just, that's where my heart is at. And so, yeah, if you want to visit the website, we do trauma trainings. We have community circles with survivors of harm. And we also have RJ, where we deal with what's going on in the world today about defund the police and restorative justice. Is we'll come in and deal with the conflict and get the two sides that have been harmed and the person that did the harm, and have a dialogue between them, so that we don't have to get the system involved, the police involved, have anybody incarcerated. And we do that in the community also. So yeah, that's just a little bit about us. And I thank ARC and everybody else out here that gives people a ride home, and all the love that's coming from this community is great. And we have a big cohort of community-based organizations in the Bay Area. Another one that just started up that's all formerly incarcerated is Bay Area Freedom Collective with Coney Kim, and it's really taken off, and they're doing rides home too. Yeah, but thank you for asking, Sam.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you for the work, and thank you for the heart that you put into this. Our system is now at about 110,000. There are people coming home every day, and they need support. I know I've had some questions, which we will address a little bit later in the show, about how you can get involved and how you can support. We will definitely make sure that information for organizations that are doing this work, you're able to contact them. If you look in our chat box, we have in the Ahimsa Collective website, all of the information we'll be pushing out. It will be on our website also. And we'll be talking about some other organizations towards the end of the show, just so you know, like, the more support that we have, the more we can make sure that people are able to come home safely and understand that they're big part of a much broader community that really cares for them. I've had a few shout outs. Just want to give some shout outs. I'll let y'all know that I'm recognizing what I'm seeing. Jamel, if you're watching, there's some people that are saying you're a great life coach. Caesar and some of the Hope and Redemption team just want to tag y'all and let y'all know that the work is recognized on the outside. Carlos is handling the work on the you guys are handling work on the inside. Carlos is picking people up as they come home. But what's interesting, just want to touch on this real quick, is because we have not been able to go into the institutions, Caesar and the rest of the Hope and Redemption team, led by Jacob, have been doing a bit more life coaching outside. And maybe we'll have a show about what that looks like when they're not going inside institutions. But I'd like to get back to Pam and ask you, what has your experience been like giving rides to women that are coming home? And can you tell us about your most recent ride home? I saw a couple of them. So could you tell us about your last two rides home? One of them was like, had me in tears. Could you share with us, please?
So this last one that I did, her name was Sarah Block. She was 8 months pregnant. Yeah. So she got released early due to COVID-19, and she was a character. She kept me going. The ride home to Bakersfield was like really pleasurable with her. But when I took her to when we got to Bakersfield, she wanted to get a phone, she wanted to get some clothes and get something to eat. Well, when we first left, she wanted to get something to eat. She didn't care where it was. So I took her to Jack in the Box, and she enjoyed that because she hadn't had no like real food the whole time she was there. But she had on these little bitty shorts, and she was like, I never in my life had no little bitty shorts like this. She was like, can we please go shopping so I can get something to wear so I can change, because I could not let my man see me like this. So anyway, we get there, and I was like, I have it. She was like, are you sure? And I was like, yes. She was like, I don't know what I would do. She was like, this is an amazing organization. She said, I can't wait to tell my story, to tell them how they pick a great person to pick me up. The ride home was amazing, and you got me in here in perfect timing. She was like, you beat Google. But the whole time I was like, I hope she don't throw up in my car because she was pregnant. But she did very good. And I've been trying to keep in contact with her. I tried to call her yesterday, but she didn't answer the phone. So I don't know if she had the baby yet. But she wants to be involved with ARC. But like I told her, I said, they don't have a chapter down there where you at. So she said if they ever do, she wants to get involved and be able to give ride homes for the women coming home as well. She wants to be involved.
We can definitely figure, I'm sure, and I don't want to speak for Carlos, but I know Carlos has a network that covers the state, and I'm pretty sure he can reach out and figure out when she's ready. There she is there.
There she is.
Those are the pictures I was waiting for right there.
Yes, that's her. That's what she changed.
So again, Pam, thank you for your heart. Like
You're welcome. I love it.
And this is what this organization is meant to be, a support network for us, by us, like with all of our allies and supporters, to be able to support people as they come home and empower people that are currently informally incarcerated. So again, big shout out to Pamela. I want to ask Carlos a couple of questions and want to kind of get into some of the mechanics of the ride home. For instance, what's the furthest distance a pickup can and will be delivered? Well, first of all, how far in advance do you have to be notified or have a request sent to you?
You know, one of the very special things about our program is that, and I think our partners at Stanford Law School will tell you, we never said no to a pickup. You know, we've never denied a pickup. You know, if there's a will, there's a way. I'm a very optimistic person. I've gone enough, like I've seen people get released, get on the train, and I'll meet them up in Bakersfield, in Hanford, in Fresno, wherever they get dropped off, because I want to make sure I be there for them. And those are the things, like, for instance, Mr. Fry, you know, if he would have called me at 10 o'clock that day that he got released, I guarantee you I would have been there. You know, and I guarantee you that any of my brothers and my sisters that do the driving right now, they would have been there. Yesterday, you know, with Richard, we had an individual that's going from Torrance to the Bay Area in San Francisco, made a phone call, and he's on his way over there right now. We don't deny anyone of this service because we know how it feels, you know, to be neglected at times. We know how it feels to get on that bus. You know, we know how it feels to go without. And so today, in modern age, we have a whole brand new world with technology. You know, the way things operate in the world is just completely different. So we wouldn't want anybody going through that anymore. My biggest thing is we've gone from coast to coast, literally, throughout the United States. We've gone up and down the state, from Pelican Bay to Donovan, from Ironwood to the county jail here in LA. You know, we've gone up to High Desert, you know, and we're not afraid of that, right? We make sure that we connect with the right CDCR personnel so they could give us the information that we need, the date, the time, and location of pickups. That's really important. And then now during COVID-19, we want our people to be safe. We want people to have masks. We want people to have hand sanitizer. We want people to be socially distanced, you know, so we want to make sure that people have these opportunities. But at the same time, like I've always said, we also want to welcome people home. We also want to make sure that they eat that steak and eggs if that's what they want. Shrimp and lobster, you know, there's only been a few people that asked me that. But at the very least, you know, we give those opportunities. We give, you know, those little taste buds to let you know that you're home, to let you know that you have a full community that's supporting you. As a matter of fact, today, what we're trying to do, we're trying to create this contract with CIW because I really care about the women that are getting released through CIW. This last one showed me a lot. You know, from one day to another, it was a Friday afternoon. I just happened to find Pamela at the office. I got a phone call. Hey, Carlos, I have an 8-month pregnant woman that's getting released tomorrow. Her date changed from a month ago to tomorrow. Can you help? I looked up, I see Pam, and I asked Pam, I know you don't work tomorrow, right? And I know this is what we do. And she got up early in the morning the next day, 7 o'clock. She was at TIW gates picking up Sarah, and then the rest is history. Those are the things that we don't deny somebody of.
Let me ask you this, Carlos. How does a person that's inside, or like, because you have family members that are mostly listening now, and other people, how do they request a ride home?
A lot of counselors know our program now. Most of the prisons know about our program now. I receive a lot of emails. I receive a lot of letters. We do have an application process that we sent out, right? So if you're requesting, if you're hearing me from inside right now, which you shouldn't, right? I don't think you should, but send me a letter, send me an application, and I will make sure to fulfill that for you. And it's mostly, again, Sam, this service is for the people that don't have that community member out here, that don't have the family member out here. And it's been a long time, right? 15, 20, 25 years that you've been incarcerated and you lost everyone. This is for you. This is for a person that is really has nothing to come to the community with, out here with, and you know, and that's the best way to get in contact with us. You could also call us at our main office. Soon enough, I'm gonna have my own phone line, so you can call me direct, so we can make sure that we provide this service for you.
So want to share something. A couple of questions came up. So one, just so for this is for our audience. First, I hope I pronounced the name right. Shaniqua Smith. Yes, formerly incarcerated people can participate and be involved. We call people that are not formerly incarcerated our allies. So absolutely, our staff is 70% formerly incarcerated. And like, we have an amazing staff that are not formerly incarcerated, and they make the wheels go round on these things. Like, it's a team effort. It's not just us. We understand that it takes an entire village to raise a child, and it takes an entire village to be able to support people as they come home. So definitely want you to know that people that are not formerly incarcerated can be involved. Most of the time, what we try to do is we have a member network. And our members are all formerly incarcerated. So we have about 1,600 to 1,700 formerly incarcerated people that we can tap as volunteers to help provide rides home to people that are coming home. So when people ask if they can volunteer through our organization, it's not that we don't want to give you the opportunity. What we like to do is to give that opportunity to our members who have gone through the experience of being incarcerated and knowing what it felt like either to have a ride home or to not have a ride home. And so that translates immensely when a person gets in the car and like, hey, my name is Carlos, I'm the one they contacted, and Carlos shares his story and his history and can help you understand some of the barriers that you may have to overcome and what kind of support that you're having in the community. So it's never that we don't want people that are not formerly incarcerated to volunteer. It's just that we have 16 to 1,700 formerly incarcerated members that are part of our organization that do volunteer, and we'll always put them in proximity to helping other people come home. I hope, Ms. Lampert, I hope that answered your question in regards to volunteering. It's not that we don't, it's just that we have a lot of members that are willing to give from the heart. One of the tenets of ARC is to be of service to your community, and part of our community definitely are people that are coming home and people that are currently incarcerated. You've answered most of the questions that I have for you, Carlos. But I'd like to go back to Mr. Fry for a minute. You came home, and so you left many years ago, 21 years ago, and you came home during a pandemic where it's basically a lockdown. Like, Carlos had to go pick you up. Like, it's different from how we came home, where literally you could go out. And right now it's kind of this shelter at home in California. What's it like for you coming home during a pandemic?
It was a big culture shock because especially, it looks like something from a movie where all the restaurants are closed. You know, you can't go in there and eat, and everyone's wearing masks, and it seems like everyone's afraid to even look at you or anything. You know, in prison also, the COVID is crazy too, because everyone's wearing masks. They have everybody secluded from everyone. So no one's working in prisons. You know, everything's shut down, even in prisons. So the COVID is a big thing. I found out, matter of fact, I just happened to talk to one of my old bosses just the other day. They let out like 70 people in one day. They told them, pack your stuff up, shoved them right through the door, right through R&R. And all those guys were didn't even know they were paroling. So that's 70 people that were just stuck out the wall and told, get on. So that shows you that they're trying to empty the prisons. They're not telling no one about it, but they're doing it. And it's the same thing out here. It's just, you know, it's a different life. When I was out here before, it was totally different. And it's getting, I have to get used to it.
We get through it though, brother. We get through it together.
Yes, we will.
I noticed, Pam, you have your hand up. That I'd like to redirect. I noticed that you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to add that Sarah was very appreciative for the ride home, especially being pregnant and having to go to the bus or train station with other people and not knowing if she would come in contact and jeopardize her baby with COVID-19. So she was very appreciative with that. That's all I wanted to add.
Okay, all right. And we definitely, I think a good idea is to have her on the show so she can share and have the baby so we can see the baby. We want to see the baby.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
So wanted to redirect again to Carlos. With so many people coming home in the next few months, will there be enough vehicles to facilitate their arrivals?
You know, Sam, that's a very, very interesting question. It's this week is endless right now. You know, I almost feel like we're kind of getting pushed back on the wall because we need the support, we need the help. You know, we need to continue this. And for us, it's almost trying to solve every single problem that we have within the prison system. You know, we go inside. There's a lot of folks that don't have hygiene, good hygiene. There's a lot of folks that don't have masks still. You know, and then they're coming out here, and we're trying to make sure that they get this gate pickup. We're trying to make sure that they're safe, right? And you know, Richard and I have been going at this for a while now. Him in the Bay Area, where he picks up the folks from San Quentin. These last couple of weeks, you know, we've had numerous amounts of conversations. It's like, where are they gonna go? How are they gonna get released? Are they COVID-19 positive? You know, are they gonna go into quarantine right after they get picked up, right? So Richard has a lot of these answers as well, which I'm glad, because I can't be there physically. You know, like it's the same thing as somebody gets released over here, and I have to drive them up to the Bay Area, right? We have to make sure that we work together. The lines of communication are open, and we have to make sure that we reach out to our community. You know, so we could have, you know, for me, a lot of times I think about it on my feet. You know, if I know of a housing resource, I'm going to call them. I'm not going to wait for CDCR. I'm not going to wait for a PO to make those calls. I'm going to make those calls for them. You know, if I know that, you know, there's a resource where there's a stimulus, returning citizen stimulus package somewhere, I'm going to make that phone call. I'm going to connect the person that I'm picking up to that resource. Because right now, the way I see it, you know, with the lack of jobs, you know, with the lack of being out there socially with everyone else, you can't do that anymore. So you're going to need some of that help, you know, some of those resources.
So I have a question for you that I just saw come up, because this is one of the unique ones. So two things. One, Jonathan, I will address your question in just a moment. But Carlos, wanted to ask you about Pelican Bay. Like, we have two life coaches out there. Shout out to Joseph and Mark. How is that constructed? So a person gets out of Pelican Bay, and let's say they're going to Los Angeles. How do we create a ride home for them?
So the first thing that we do, you know, our folks, our members up there, Mark and Joseph, what they do is they contact the prison. They make sure that every single data aspect of it, logistically, is inclined. You know, the date, the time of release. Right after that, we have one of them pick them up. They'll take them to Eureka. They'll take them to the airport. From the airport, they'll buy them their plane ticket. They'll fly down to LA. It could be Sacramento. It could be Oakland. It could be San Diego. But we'll have an ARC member waiting for them there. We'll have a driver waiting for them there. And so that alleviates that 19-hour gap of traveling time that you're going to do in the train, that you're going to do in the car. And also, you know, we're connecting them to their families. You know, one of the biggest things now is I like to connect folks to their families, because some of the folks can't go into transitional housing. So they go straight home. Once in LA, we pick them up, we show them what it looks like, you know, in their community again. And the crazy part, a lot of people haven't been to the Staples Center. A lot of people haven't seen some of these historic sites that we have now. And we like to show them that. So we don't exclude, again, the welcoming people home properly, you know, that's our ritual today. And so then that's the only fairest way and the safest way that we could get people home.
Thank you, Carlos. Angela, James, yes, we do. We actually have a therapist in our Sacramento office and a therapist in our Los Angeles office, and both of our housing sites that are available to all of our members to talk about PTSD, also post-incarceration syndrome, which is not recognized yet, but it's definitely something that impacts people that have been coming home. Jonathan, law enforcement has not pushed back on us when it comes to transportations. What we did, we established a working relationship and line of communication with the Department of Corrections. So literally in some instances, we have people that are on active parole picking someone up to drop them off at transitional housing. First, we make sure that they're cleared and we keep all lines of communication open. If you reach out to us, maybe we could help you establish that ride home program in your community, but we haven't had any pushback. In instances where we might have that type of problem, which we haven't, we literally use just a strong line of communication. Sadly, we're coming to the close of this amazing panel or this show. Just wanted to tell you again, Carlos, thank you. Would like to get some closing thoughts. Pamela, some closing thoughts for anyone out there, your thoughts based on your lived experience and what you've been doing since you've come home. Richard, could you give us some last minute thoughts?
I would just like to just say thank you for having me on this panel, and like just sending a shout out to everybody that is in our community, and you know, sign up for rides or sign up to help out. And like if you have a room open in your house, a lot of people are coming home. If you have a room open, like can they use that room? Like it's kind of like we want all these people out of prison. They're letting them out. Now let's help them. Let's figure out, let's welcome them back into the community however we can. If you have rooms, you have computers, you have PPE, like let's get it out there to them. Connect with one of these organizations, and these are our brothers and sisters coming home. Let's do this. And we've been asking for this and it's happening. Now it's on us to welcome them home. And I love being a part of this right now. So I just want to thank you all.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate you, brother. Pamela, are you back online?
Yeah, I didn't realize I was muted and I was running across the street.
Okay, last minute thoughts on both your lived experience and what you're doing now that you're home.
Well, I want to thank all you guys for having me on the panel today. But it's, like I said, the program is really amazing to be able to be in a position to help those that's coming home, because I was once there. So I'm able to help them transition back into society, being that, you know, that's my lived experience and that's where I'm at now. So I work in reentry, helping formerly incarcerated people find jobs, resources, whatever resources that they may need. So I love what I do because I was once there. So I want to make it easier for them as it was made easy for me.
Thank you, Pamela. And we're gonna, I promise you, we're gonna set up a time for, I think we should just do all CIW show of people that have come home and what it's been like, and just maybe we'll make you the moderator for that show.
Okay.
I think it's time.
I did CCWF too.
Yeah, okay. Hey, thank you again, Pamela. Edward, last thoughts of like just coming home and what it's been like and what you'd like to give people that are listening right now.
I'd like to just thank all you for allowing me to come here. I wasn't expecting this. I'm still a baby right now in this. I'm starting my life. I just barely started it. And there's so much roadblocks. But with Carlos and others, that there are people there that want to help you. And it's going to take time, but I'm willing to work my butt off, because I got a lot of things up here that I kept in there let me tell myself, never do I want to go back and deal with all that garbage in prison. And with that mentality, I'm going to work my butt off to succeed. And like I said, right now, I still have a big road in front of me. And it's kind of scary, but I'm up for it. And I want to thank all you again for hearing our voices, because there's a lot of people in prison that really, we need help. And we can't give up. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Edward. Appreciate you. And again, welcome home. Make sure Carlos takes you for that steak and lobster he was talking about. Carlos, last minute thoughts that you want to just share with everyone?
You know, for me, it's been an amazing road, an amazing journey. I've been out a little over 9.5 years, and seeing so many people come home, you know, seeing so many of our brothers and sisters come home to their families, you know, that's what this whole work means to me. You know, when we started back when I got out in 2011, we didn't have, you know, a quarter of what we have today. And I'm proud of that. And I'm proud of the community that we built. I definitely want to give Richard a huge shout out for taking over the Bay Area. You know, I really appreciate that. Pamela, thank you, you know, for being able to pick up our women, you know, and I want to just say that I can't do it on my own, and I never could have, and I never will, you know. So whoever wants to be a part of this, there's always a place, you know, there's always going to be a time, you know. Hit me up, let me know you want to be a part of this. We're looking at expanding again. You know, one of the biggest things that I want to do is create a way of bringing our women home safely. You know, that's really important to me. And then lastly, you know, we just got a huge request from the governor's office to pick up some of the clemency recipients that he's going to be releasing. So those are things that we're looking forward to. Those are things that we could be a part of. And it's all about changing the way we look at our community and the way we treat our community because of the way we've already changed. So thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you, Carlos. Appreciate your work and your heart. I want to give a shout out again to Stanford's Three Strikes Project. Mike Romano, if you're listening, or if you see this, huge shout out to you for the work that you're doing and fighting for the people that are stuck in court under the 1170D kickouts, and for the Three Strikers. Thank you for being there and for pushing back on that. Also, definitely want to give a huge shout out again to Richard and his organization, Ahimsa Collective. And I also, again, want to give shouts out to other organizations that are providing rides home, including the Ella Baker Center, Choices for Freedom, All of Us and None, the Bell Project, and Place for Grace. This is a huge lift. We're doing it this as a collective. It's not one organization that's doing this. So understand that this is a bunch of people working together to help people. I'm going to close out with saying, for many people in the chat box, the question has been, how can we help people that are coming home with the ride homes? With those organizations that I've shouted out, please donate to them. Literally, most of the donation money goes to gas, mileage, transportation, clothing, toiletries, and things for people that are coming home. So please look up those organizations. You can contact us. We'll put you in contact. But donations to those organizations will help immensely as we bring more and more people home. For next week, November's coming up. And it's not just about the presidential election, but we have 3 huge ballot initiatives that we have to look at. And we have to support or oppose. Prop 17, voting rights for people that are on parole. We will be discussing that in depth. And we need to make sure that the word gets out. And this will not be the last time we'll have this up. We'll have it up after this, because as we get closer and closer to the time to vote, we need to make sure that people are informed and understand how important it is for you to get out and vote on this ballot. Prop 20 is trying to roll back Proposition 47 and Proposition 57. These are both props that have helped people come home. These are propositions that have helped people get involved with rehabilitative programs, become better people, and head home. And Prop 20 is trying to roll these back for no good reason, to be honest. And so we definitely want to oppose Prop 20. We will talk more in depth about that next week. And then we'll also be talking about ending cash bail on Prop 2025, which is right now somewhat of not clear how that'll look, but we will definitely discuss it. Again, people, these are things that directly impact our communities. our family members, our sons, our daughters, our sisters, our brothers. Remember that we have the power to be able to continue to make changes in this state and make this state better. We have the opportunity at hand right now to literally cut 50% of the population that's currently incarcerated. But we have to also make sure that we support people that are coming home that are incarcerated and that need those supports. Thank you for your time today. Stay blessed and stay strong.